This is the follow-up review of my build where I took 1,600 RadioShack coins, these guys, and turned them into this, a Lapsteel guitar. If somehow you're watching this video first, I've put the link to the original build video in the description below. This was one of my more complex builds I've done, just between the casting, grinding, and sanding, and anodizing. There was a lot to take on to get to this point. I'm an extremely novice metal caster, so for me to get the results I have here, I'm more than satisfied with how it turned out. As far as the surface imperfections, there's small holes and voids throughout the guitar. I don't know what alloy of aluminum these coins are, but I'm almost positive that they're stamped or pressed out of some probably low quality aluminum. Aluminum that at the very least isn't meant for casting. So considering that, I think the casting went pretty well. I touched on this in the main video, but the top of the face right here has these sort of scratch-like marks on it. I think they're just areas that didn't anodize and they're slightly subsurface. Also, the weld marks showing up on the sides, I mentioned in the main video, and I think that's due to the welding rod having a different alloy than the coins, so they have different anodizing characteristics. The nut is mounted through the frame here with 2 bolts, and I didn't really have a better method for mounting it. I suppose it could have been welded in, but then that wouldn't allow for any adjustment should it need it. It is a roller nut, which means that the string guides here, each one of these spin individually, and that's pretty important when using a bridge that can bend the strings like this Duesenberg bridge. The roller nut just helps return the strings to pitch after bending. As for the playability, the only other Lapsteel I've ever played is that cheap one that I bought online just to practice with, and so I will say that this one does play at least as good as that one. But honestly, I'm not really sure how to judge playability on a Lapsteel, because like I mentioned earlier, Lapsteel is really just floating strings from one point to another. So it's not like you have a good or bad action or a neck feel or anything like you would on a typical guitar that would make you say this thing plays good or bad. What I can speak to is how comfortable it is to play. When I first designed this, I wanted to leave the neck open just to create something that looked cool and different. I was worried about how comfortable it would be to play considering it rests on your lap while playing, and I did put a back plate that's covered in felt on the body, so that rests on my right thigh while playing, and then the neck portion lies on my left thigh. And it actually is pretty comfortable. I don't have any complaints. The frame is pretty thick, so it disperses the pressure evenly, so it's not like it's pinpointing pressure on my thigh. Alright, let's get a weight on this thing. 10.6, a little over 10.5 pounds. One benefit to it being relatively heavy is that it feels super stable in your lap. I can really apply pressure on the bender arms and on the bridge without the guitar lifting up or contorting. Alright, that's it. Those are my thoughts. If you have any additional questions about the build, leave them in the comments below and I'll take a look at them. Thanks for watching.